It is one of the tallest cathedrals in the Orthodox Church, built just outside Moscow at the military-themed Patriot Park.
Beneath the bustling streets of Moscow lies a realm shrouded in silence, a subterranean history untold. This enigmatic capital, a symbol of Russia's resilience and scientific prowess, harbors secrets that rest in the shadows of its storied past. As millions traverse its surface, few ponder the mysteries etched into the very earth beneath them. What veiled tales do the depths of Moscow hold? And why does a silent history linger, unspoken by historians? This video seeks to illuminate the hidden chapters of a city that is as enigmatic as it is majestic. The foundation of Moscow, from swamps to metropolis. The genesis of Moscow, the heart of Russia, is as fascinating as it is complex. Rooted in modest beginnings, Moscow's evolution from a swampy settlement to a sprawling metropolis echoes with tales of endurance and ambition. Its foundation, often shrouded in the mists of time, reveals the tenacity of a city destined to become an emblem of national pride and cultural identity. Around the 12th century, the area now known as Moscow was a part of the vast, dense forests interspersed with swamps, a challenging and unlikely place for a city to flourish. Yet it was here on the banks of the Moskva River that the city took root. The river itself, which would become the lifeblood of the burgeoning city, was both a vital resource and a natural defense against invaders. The initial settlement is believed to have been a minor fortification, one among many in the Kievan Rus' principality. The city's name, Moscow, is thought to derive from the river itself, though its exact origins are lost to history. What is known, however, is that Moscow's strategic location at the crossroads of trade routes quickly elevated its status from a backwater to a center of commerce and power. The city's fortunes were further cemented when, in 1327, Ivan I of Moscow, known as Ivan Kalita, moved the title of the Grand Prince of Vladimir to Moscow, effectively transferring the center of power from the declining city of Vladimir. Despite its growing importance, Moscow was not immune to calamity. The city faced numerous invasions and was subjected to devastation and fire repeatedly. Yet each time, the city rose from its ashes, rebuilt by its inhabitants, with a resilience that would become characteristic of Muscovites. It was as though the very act of reconstruction imbued the city with a greater sense of purpose and identity. The 15th century saw Moscow becoming the religious center of Russia, with the construction of the Kremlin, today a symbol of Russian statehood, commencing under the auspices of Grand Prince Ivan III. The Kremlin walls, which have withstood the test of time, were initially constructed of wood, but were later replaced with the formidable and enduring white stone. The Kremlin not only served as the residence of the prince, but also became the spiritual nucleus, as cathedrals and churches were erected within its precincts. The Great Fires, resilience, and rebirth of Moscow. Moscow's history is a tapestry woven with threads of destruction and renewal, none more dramatic than the great fires that have swept through its streets. These conflagrations have been both a curse and a crucible, reducing the city to ashes only to see it rise again, each time more formidable and more resolute. The story of Moscow's fires is not merely one of calamity, but of the indomitable spirit of its people and the city's phoenix-like ability to rebirth from its own charred remains. Perhaps the most infamous of these disasters was the Fire of 1812, which broke out following the retreat of Napoleon's Grand Army. As legend has it, fearing that the French would take over the city and use its resources, retreating Russian troops and remaining residents decided to set Moscow. The fire raged for days, devouring wooden structures and leaving an estimated 3/4 of the city in ruins. It was a tactical scorched earth policy that eventually contributed to the downfall of Napoleon, as the French army found themselves in a razed city, unable to sustain themselves through the harsh Russian winter. This catastrophic event, however, was far from unique in Moscow's long history. Records tell of numerous other fires that have challenged the city's resilience. As early as 1238, the Mongol invasion saw flames engulf Moscow, a baptism by fire that marked the beginning of 2 centuries of Tatar-Mongol yoke. Again, in 1547, just 6 years after Ivan the Terrible was crowned the first Tsar of Russia, a fire famously known as the Great Fire consumed large parts of the city, including the Kremlin. The 17th century was no kinder, with the 1626 and 1648 fires wreaking havoc, the latter inciting a riot due to its devastating impact on the city's population. Despite the frequency and ferocity of these blazes, Muscovites never wavered in their commitment to rebuild. The aftermath of each disaster saw a city reborn, often with improved construction techniques and fire regulations. After the fire of 1812, for instance, Moscow underwent a significant transformation. Architectural renewal was not just about rebuilding what was lost, it was about reimagining the city's identity. The reconstruction ushered in new streets, squares, and boulevards, aligning more with modern European cities. The city's fabric became more structured, and its architecture more monumental, reflecting Moscow's standing as a major European capital. The underbelly of Moscow, a subterranean mystery. The enigma of Moscow does not merely reside in its grandiose palaces and mighty walls, but whispers through the labyrinthine network of tunnels and chambers hidden beneath its urban sprawl. This subterranean world is as much a part of Moscow's heritage as the iconic Red Square or the towering spires of St. Basil's Cathedral. The depths beneath the city are a repository of mysteries that have intrigued historians, archaeologists, and the adventurous souls brave enough to delve into the city's bowels. The origins of Moscow's underground are as old as the city itself. The first tunnels, believed to be dug in the 15th century, were intended as a drainage system for the Kremlin, which stood on a hill above the confluence of the Neglinaya and Moskva rivers. Over time, these tunnels evolved into a complex web, serving various functions: sanctuaries during sieges, escape routes for the royalty, and in later centuries as conduits for communication and transportation. Among the most enigmatic features of this underground world are the chambers and passageways that date back to medieval times. The discovery of a subterranean church, complete with altars and frescoes during the construction of the Great Kremlin Palace in the 19th century, sparked wonder and speculation. How many more such edifices lie buried under the city? What events led to their entombment? These questions fuel the imagination and lead to speculation that perhaps beneath today's city lies another older Moscow waiting to be unearthed. In more recent history, during the Soviet era, the underbelly of Moscow took on a more ominous and secretive role. It became the site for bomb shelters and command centers, constructed during the Cold War to protect against a nuclear threat. The extent of this clandestine network is still not fully known, as many of these facilities remain classified, adding to the aura of mystery that envelops Moscow's underground. The Kremlin's hidden layers, archaeological enigmas. The Kremlin, Moscow's ancient fortress and the nucleus of Russian political power, is not just an architectural marvel, but also a palimpsest of the city's history. Beneath its imposing walls and grandiose cathedrals lie hidden layers that have captivated archaeologists and historians alike. These buried strata hold the secrets of Moscow's past, revealing stories that have been concealed by time and transformation. It is here, within the Kremlin's confines, that some of the most intriguing archaeological puzzles of Moscow have been unearthed. The fortress itself has witnessed numerous reconstructions, each contributing to the enigmatic layers beneath. During the building of the Great Kremlin Palace in the 19th century, workers stumbled upon a subterranean church replete with corridors and crypts. This discovery begged the question, what led to such a sacred edifice being interred beneath the earth? Theories abound as to the origins and purpose of these underground chambers. Some suggest that they were part of a larger, older version of the city, predating the current structures. Others speculate that they were intentionally buried as part of defensive measures, or in a bid to preserve them from invaders. But the true reasons remain shrouded in mystery, obscured by centuries of silence. The Kremlin's underground is not limited to religious structures. Passages and rooms, some dating back to the time of Ivan the Terrible, have been discovered beneath the cobbled squares. These findings suggest that the ground beneath the Kremlin was once a bustling complex, as alive as the city above. It might have included royal escape routes, hidden storerooms, or even clandestine meeting places. Archaeological digs within the Kremlin have also unearthed artifacts that paint a vivid picture of the past. Coins, jewelry, and household items provide a glimpse into the daily lives of those who walked these grounds centuries ago. Each object tells a story, contributing to a more nuanced understanding of Moscow's rich tapestry of history. Despite these discoveries, much of the Kremlin's subterranean world remains unexplored. Political sensitivities and the challenges of excavating an active governmental site mean that many secrets are likely to remain untouched, at least for the foreseeable future. The underground chambers and passages that have been sealed off prompt as many questions as the ones that have been uncovered. The underground churches, lost architectural wonders. In the heart of Moscow lies a phenomenon that is as spiritually profound as it is architecturally astounding. Underground churches, entire sanctuaries concealed beneath the city's surface.
It is one of the tallest cathedrals in the Orthodox Church, built just outside Moscow at the military-themed Patriot Park.
These subterranean places of worship, some dating back centuries, represent a chapter of history that is both enigmatic and enthralling. They are architectural wonders that have been lost to time, buried under layers of earth and history, awaiting rediscovery and recognition of their former glory. The concept of underground churches in Moscow is intertwined with the city's tumultuous history, marked by invasions, destruction, and subsequent rebuilding. The reasons for their burial are many and varied. Some were interred during the construction of newer buildings. Others were filled in during the city's many renovations.
As you may have seen, the fire here, it swept through St. Leo, the great Roman Catholic Church in the Tacony neighborhood of the city Sunday, leaving it destroyed.
And a few may have been hidden to protect them from the ravages of time and man. These sanctuaries now lie dormant, their altars silent, their frescoes veiled in darkness. One of the most remarkable of these churches was discovered during the 19th century construction of the Great Kremlin Palace. Workers unearthed an ancient church complete with icons and embellishments. This unexpected find was a window into a bygone era, providing invaluable insight into the craftsmanship and religious life of medieval Moscow. It prompted many to consider the possibility of other yet undiscovered churches waiting just below the surface. These hidden churches are not mere ruins, they are masterpieces of stonework and artistry. Built from the white stone that Moscow is famed for, they were once resplendent with intricate carvings and icons, their walls telling biblical tales and their domes reaching towards the heavens. Now they sit in quiet repose, their beauty obscured, their congregations long dispersed. The existence of these underground churches is a testament to Moscow's layered religious history. They reflect periods of religious fervor and times of persecution, of the city's growth and its capacity for reinvention. The underground churches offer a narrative that complements the visible, above-ground history of Moscow's ecclesiastical architecture, providing a fuller picture of the city's spiritual heritage. The secret passages from protection to prohibition. Within the depths of Moscow's earth lies a clandestine legacy, a network of secret passages that have served various covert purposes throughout history. These concealed corridors have been instrumental in safeguarding treasures, facilitating surreptitious escapes, and hosting undisclosed meetings. The intricate maze of tunnels that extends beneath the city is a testament to human ingenuity in the face of adversity and the lengths to which people will go to protect what they hold dear. The genesis of these secret passages is as practical as it is fascinating. Initially conceived for protection and strategic military advantage, they allowed the safe passage of royalty and the swift movement of troops during sieges and invasions. The very existence of these tunnels was often known only to a select few, their entrances cleverly disguised and their routes shrouded in secrecy to ensure they remained uncompromised and effective in times of need. The use of these passages has evolved over the centuries, adapting to the needs of the times. During the tumultuous years of political strife and revolution, they provided a means of discreet travel and communication for those in power. In times of peace, they have been rumored to house the treasures of the nation, far from prying eyes and the threat of theft. Yet the allure of these hidden conduits is not merely historical, it extends into the realm of legend. Tales abound of vast underground cities, of rooms lined with gold, and of ancient libraries filled with priceless manuscripts. These stories, while often dismissed as mere folklore, underscore the sense of mystery and possibility that the secret passages of Moscow evoke. Despite their storied past, the secret passages have not always been viewed favorably. With the passage of time, the necessity for such covert routes diminished, and their presence came to be seen as a potential threat. The concern was that these tunnels could be used for illicit activities, from smuggling to unauthorized exploration. Consequently, the government has prohibited unauthorized access to these passages, a prohibition that stands to this day. The modern city above continues to thrive, largely oblivious to the hidden network below. Yet the tunnels remain, their silent halls bearing witness to history. The secret passages of Moscow are an integral part of the city's heritage, serving as a physical chronicle of the city's strategic and protective measures throughout the ages. The exploration of these passages is fraught with challenges. Not only are they difficult to access, but their aging structures also pose significant risks. The city's infrastructure, built upon these ancient foundations, is sensitive to disturbances, making the exploration of the passages a delicate endeavor. The buried river networks, Moscow's invisible waterways. Moscow's subterranean landscape is a marvel, not just for its tunnels and chambers, but also for the intricate network of rivers and streams that once flowed freely above ground. These buried waterways are an invisible matrix that once defined the city's geography as much as the streets and alleys that have since taken their place. Over time, as Moscow grew and evolved, many of these rivers were redirected below the surface, creating an extensive system of hidden streams that mirror the bustling life above. The history of Moscow's invisible waterways is a narrative of urban development and the changing relationship between a city and its natural environment. Rivers like the Neglinaya were once prominent features in the Moscow landscape, providing water, transportation, and defense for the city's inhabitants. However, as Moscow expanded, these rivers were viewed less as vital arteries of the city and more as obstacles to its growth. Flooding was a frequent issue, and as the city's population increased, so too did the need for land. In response, many of Moscow's rivers were gradually confined to underground passages. The Neglinaya River, for example, now flows through a subterranean conduit beneath the city. This transformation from open-air river to hidden stream was not unique to the Neglinaya. Many other rivers underwent similar fates. The Chechora, Yauza, and even parts of the Moskva itself have been channeled into underground tunnels and pipes. These hidden rivers carry with them stories from the past. Archaeological finds along these waterways have unearthed relics of Moscow's history, from medieval pottery to remnants of old bridges. These discoveries are a reminder that beneath Moscow's modern facade lies a rich historical tapestry that is interwoven with its natural waterways. The buried rivers also serve as a metaphor for the city's resilience and adaptability. Just as the rivers have been rerouted and repurposed, so too has Moscow continually reinvented itself over the centuries. These waterways are an integral part of the city's infrastructure, playing a crucial role in drainage and sewage systems, yet they also represent the loss of the natural landscape to the march of urbanization. The invisible rivers of Moscow are not entirely forgotten. Urban explorers and historians seek to map these hidden streams, sometimes accessing them through the city's sewers and tunnels. These explorations are not without risk, but they offer a glimpse into a part of the city that few know exists. The architectural anomalies, buildings beneath buildings. The urban tapestry of Moscow is rich with historical layers, some of which are hidden from the casual observer's eye. An extraordinary aspect of this stratified history is the architectural anomalies that exist throughout the city. Buildings beneath buildings. These subterranean structures are enigmatic remnants of past eras, encapsulating stories of old Moscow within the foundations of the new. The existence of these architectural wonders beneath the city's modern edifices speaks to a time when Moscow was less a city and more a palimpsest of human endeavor. As Moscow grew vertically and horizontally, older structures were often enveloped by newer constructions. This resulted in the entombment of entire buildings, with layers of earth and history concealing them from view. One of the most remarkable examples of this phenomenon is the discovery of a 16th century church found beneath the bustling streets. The church, made of the iconic white stone, was unearthed during an urban development project, revealing a sanctuary complete with an altar and icons. The discovery sparked curiosity and wonder about how many more such structures might be lying dormant, shrouded beneath centuries of urban development. The reasons for these subterranean buildings vary. Some were buried due to natural accumulation over time, while others were intentionally covered during periods of rapid construction or to protect them from potential threats. The result is a complex suburban landscape that archaeologists and historians are only beginning to understand and appreciate. These buried buildings are not merely of historical interest, they also present a unique architectural challenge. Each one is a snapshot of the construction methods and styles of its time, offering invaluable insights into Moscow's architectural evolution. The intricate carvings, frescoes, and design of these structures tell the story of a city that has been continuously inhabited and rebuilt over many centuries. The process of discovering and excavating these architectural anomalies is fraught with difficulties. Often, the modern city's infrastructure lies precariously above these ancient structures, making any exploration or excavation a delicate operation. Additionally, the need to preserve these historical treasures must be balanced against the demands of a modern, thriving metropolis. Despite these challenges, the allure of uncovering more about Moscow's past through these underground buildings is compelling. They represent a physical connection to the city's history, an enduring legacy that stands in contrast to the ephemeral nature of modern construction. Each uncovered building is a revelation, adding depth to the understanding of Moscow's past and providing a tangible link to the lives of those who built and used them. The Moscow Sea Myth, uncovering the underground waters. Amidst the tapestry of Moscow's history, myths and legends often interweave with the threads of truth. One such legend is that of the Moscow Sea, an underground expanse of water purported to rival the size of the Caspian and Black Seas combined. This legend has persisted through the years, capturing the imagination of Muscovites and visitors alike, and remains a captivating facet of the city's enigmatic allure. The origin of this myth is as murky as the subterranean waters it describes. Some say it began with the discovery of underground streams during the construction of the Moscow Metro in the 1930s, an era when grandiose projects and equally grandiose stories were commonplace in Soviet Russia. Others trace it to older tales, whispered amongst the populace, of vast chambers of water that lay deep beneath the Kremlin, perhaps remnants of ancient glacial movements or prehistoric lakes. The truth behind the myth is less fantastical but equally fascinating. Moscow does indeed sit atop a network of aquifers and underground rivers, the most famous of which is the Neglinaya River, now channeled into a subterranean tunnel. While these waters are extensive, they are not a sea by any stretch of the imagination. The legend likely grew in the telling, as tales of hidden waters beneath the city became embellished over time. The myth of the Moscow Sea speaks volumes about the human capacity for wonder and the desire to believe in the extraordinary beneath the mundane. It reflects a yearning for mystery in a world that is often all too well mapped and understood. The idea of a vast underground sea beneath the bustling streets of Moscow fires the imagination and invites speculation about what other secrets might lie hidden beneath the city's surface. Despite its mythical status, the underground waters of Moscow are of significant scientific and practical interest. These waters are not merely geological curiosities, they play a vital role in the city's ecology. The aquifers provide a source of water for the city and are a key factor in maintaining the stability of the ground above. The management of these waters is crucial to prevent flooding and ensure the safety of the city's infrastructure. The contemporary impact, urban development, and hidden histories. The ceaseless hum of urban development in Moscow is a testament to the city's dynamism and its relentless march toward the future. Yet, as skyscrapers reach upwards and foundations are laid for new developments, the city's hidden histories are often disturbed, inadvertently coming to light. These revelations have a profound impact, bridging the gap between past and present and shaping the city's identity in unexpected ways. In recent years, Moscow's development has accelerated, with new projects constantly reshaping the skyline. This growth, while a sign of progress, often brings with it the challenge of reconciling the demands of the present with the preservation of the past. Every construction project in the city center risks encountering layers of history buried beneath the modern streets, ancient buildings, forgotten streets, and remnants of life from centuries past. These encounters with the past are not merely academic concerns. They raise questions about the value we place on history and how it should be integrated into the contemporary city. When the foundations of a 16th century merchant's house are uncovered during the excavation for a new office block, or when a long-buried section of the White City's walls emerges from beneath a park, the city must decide whether to preserve these finds or prioritize development. The impact of these hidden histories on urban development is multifaceted. On one hand, they can be seen as obstacles, delaying projects and increasing costs. On the other hand, they offer unique opportunities for cultural and historical engagement. Uncovered artifacts and structures can be incorporated into new developments, creating spaces that celebrate the city's rich history. This approach can add depth and character to the urban environment, making it more attractive to residents and tourists alike. Moreover, the exposure of Moscow's hidden histories through urban development has sparked a greater public interest in the city's past. It has led to calls for more sensitive and informed development practices that take into account the potential historical significance of sites. The debate often centers on the balance between preserving the past and accommodating the needs of a living, evolving city.